Welcome back to the channel, Fat Boys. I'm up here at Old Glory Harley-Davidson. So thank you guys for allowing me to entertain myself while going on a nice little demo ride of the Lowrider ST. Oh, I'm so excited about this bike. So finally hopping the leg on over this bike. I'm so excited. Let's see what this is all about. Start her on up. Pretty good. A little tamed. Let's go ahead and pop a UE to get in the line. Ooh, this is very different feeling. So before we get started, my intentions with this video is to kind of go over the feeling and going over everything of how it just truly feels to ride this motorcycle, my first impressions of this. With that, my immediate first impressions is that like this bike is actually feeling really cramped for me. I feel like my knees are really very much in my chest, and I don't know how I quite feel about that. And while we're moving around inside of the parking lot, kind of going over some of the controls, we got the start, we got the kill, we got the ignition, we got the hazards right over here. And then we also got high beam, flashers, indicator, horn, left indicator, and we also got cruise control built into the bike. And so the part that everyone talks about on this is both the fairing and the 117. I'm having a hard time shifting on this bike, man. I feel like I really have to throw my legs up, and I think that's because of like where the foot position is on this bike. I feel like the shifter peg is really high up, and so in order to shift up, I kind of have to like bring my whole leg up in order to get through those movements. But the downshifting feels good, the engine braking feels good, the clutch feels really good, nice and responsive. The brakes feel really good on this bike. Everything so far feels really good, except the shifting and where my feet are. We're not really getting up to high enough speeds yet to really feel the windshield, but technically it's a sport touring bike. But I don't know, something about this just doesn't feel very comfortable. I feel like I've ridden Sportsters that are actually a little bit more comfortable than this. Going over some of these bumps that are on the road though, I am noticing how good the suspension is. I'm not really feeling anything even going over these warning bumps. It's really not even there, which is really quite impressive. See, 2200 second gear pull. It's definitely got lots of pickup power. It's got a lot of speed, but I do like the look of the fairing, and overall I feel like this bike is smaller than I imagined it for some reason. Like, I've been on the Road Glide ST, I've been on the Street Glide ST, which you guys can go and watch those videos. I'll link them down in the description down below for you guys. And now I'm finally on the Lowrider ST, but I feel like it kind of has an identity crisis. And that's the big problem. It's good. It's a good motorcycle, but it doesn't know what it wants to be right now. In the current state that it's in, it's kind of confused. It's good, but it's confused. But now that we are actually starting to get up to some speed, we're at 50 miles an hour, which I do like this being right here, that it's so easy to see instead of having to look down right here, which everyone talks about. I love it how now everything's right up here instead of down here. Absolutely love that. But now that we are getting a little bit more up to speed, that we're up to 50 miles an hour after that little sidetrack, I am starting to feel a lot more of the airflow that is still coming through, but it's actually deflecting quite a lot. So Harley really did do quite a bit of engineering in order to not have buffeting, but for it to still have good airflow through the system, so you're still getting airflow but still blocking a lot of that wind. So I do like this fairing. The downshifting on this bike feels really good. Engine braking feels really good. Even downshifting and engine braking into first gear is really easy, no problem at all. Also, to show off some of the ergonomics, I am 5'11" with a 32-inch inseam, and you can clearly see both of my legs are flat footing pretty easily. The seat is relatively comfortable. It's a little firm. I feel like after a couple hours, you're really going to be regretting it. But, man, I don't know what it is, but that ergonomics of that shifter, that is just bothering the crap out of me. I'm gonna have to go sit on a different one when I get back to let you guys know if it's just this one or if it's all of them, but I don't know, something about this, just that shifter peg is bothering the ever living daylight out of me. Yeah, man, plenty of power, and the engine, you feel the engine working under you. You can really feel it coming through the handlebars. It has a really good feel, and it's fun. It's a fun bike, but I'm just still torn up about the identity crisis over this. The brakes feel really good, really grippy. I'm really torn about this motorcycle. Like, I can feel the sportiness in it, but I'm just also not really sure in how to feel about this. Like, it's very paradoxical in the sport touring segment for this. So it's a fun motorcycle. It can be for you. And who is this bike actually going to be for? If you think this bike is for you, I really do think this bike is going to be for the person that has already liked the lowrider, and they like that FXR style fairing, but it has a little bit more of a modern take on it. They want the bagger, but they don't want to go full bagger, and this is what everyone is saying about this bike. It is the middle ground between bagger, softail, and performance, and I definitely see that, and it's just a bunch of fun. And so I cannot recommend this bike at all for a beginner rider. Can someone start on this bike as a beginner rider? Yes, but I do not think they should. I think this will be too much of a bike for them. But this is really, I can definitely see this as a stepping off point coming off of your beginner bike. I can definitely see this as someone that is coming, actually thinks a big touring bike is actually too much for them now. Like, they've had touring bikes and they're maybe getting older, but they still want something a little fun, but they still want some bags and they want some comfort. I can definitely see this as that for that person too. But the main person I really see this for is for that person in their 20s and 30s, maybe early 40s, that is just really wanting this as a starting platform, and I think this would be great for that. However, I don't think you should use this as a starting platform. What I think most people should do is actually kind of just go with a regular lowrider, and especially the new lowrider S, to where it has already that 117 in it, and you can make it your own. You can probably get even better everything. You can probably get better everything for cheaper than buying just the SC and still having to do all those upgrades than if you went to the regular lowrider S and you kind of retrofitted a other fairing that works just as well, to where you'd actually be saving money and you might actually make it more customized to you. But let's go ahead and hop back over to the dealership, and I'll go sit on another bike and see if the shifter peg is back to normal, and finish with my closing thoughts. Final thoughts and impressions. I kind of don't like it. But that is purely just my own opinion on this bike, and it's really more for just how it's currently set up in stock performance. I'm not the biggest fan of it, just how it's currently set up. It has too much of an identity crisis in how it wants to handle, how it wants to perform, and what it's designed to be. It's kind of confusing to me, but that doesn't mean in any aftermarket mods that you might do to it might make it better. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. I love that they actually have the bags on there. I love that there's actually cruise control stock on this bike. I do love a lot of things about this. It's just the confusing identity to me that feels off. So thank you, Old Glory, for allowing me to come and test ride this bike. It was a lot of fun. I did notice that there was still that issue, but that could simply be because of how they set up the shifter peg. I recommend you guys go and try it out yourself. If you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure you go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you aren't already, and make sure you click that bell notification. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.